physios from sportsinjuryphysio.com. This is the sixth episode of our greater trochanteric pain syndrome, or outside hip pain or lateral hip pain series. And in this blog we're going to be talking about menopause and perimenopause and why this predisposes women that are going through these problems to be more likely to have these sorts of pains on the outside of our hip compared to anyone else in the population. So what happens in a tendon normally, and what a tendon that's really healthy that looks like, is if you were to look under a microscope you would see lots and lots of collagen fibres in lots of straight lines. And those collagen fibres are in a big bundle, and then there's another bundle and another bundle and another bundle. So it's like having a piece of string, and that singular piece of string on its own is okay. It's relatively strong, but you could snap it if you gave it enough effort. But if you put lots and lots and lots of pieces of string next to each other and then try to pull those and snap those, probably not going to happen. It's got a lot more strength to it. So that's the theory between why there are lots and lots of these bundles in a tendon. It gives it its ability to withstand a lot of force and withstand a lot of activity. Now, these collagen fibres, they go through a natural process where they are replenished. And that means we get nice, new, healthy collagen fibres growing, and the things that we don't need anymore get removed. When we exercise, we create that cycle. So we're going off and we're doing a bit of activity and we're causing our body what would be called micro-trauma. Now this micro-trauma is great, it's good news. It's not something that can cause a problem. It's what we do when we give ourselves a challenging piece of exercise, and then we need a little bit of time maybe to recover from that. And as we're recovering, our body is repairing that micro-trauma and actually making ourselves stronger and more robust and able to do even more exercise. So that's why over a period of time, our muscles can get bigger, our collagen fibres get stronger in our tendons, or even our cartilage in our joints gets nice and healthy, because we are producing that cycle of micro-trauma and repair as we keep moving through exercise. This also happens in our bones. So what we want to do is look at how does the menopause change this. So there are stages of the menopause. The first stage is the perimenopause, and that starts in some people as early in their late 30s, but normally it's around about the age of mid-40s, and it can last even up to 10 years. And this is the time where you are maybe starting to get some symptoms of the menopause, and those common symptoms may have nothing to do with tendons whatsoever. So these are your hot flashes, these are not being able to sleep properly, these might be putting on a little bit of weight around your middle. We then move on to the actual menopause, and the menopause is defined as having not had a menstrual cycle or a period for 12 months. So once you've hit that 12 months, you're then known to have gone through menopause. So if we look at what's happening in our body during that time and how that relates to a tendon, it's all about our hormones. And our hormones particularly are estrogen and progesterone. And they are starting at a level where we are when we are before we hit perimenopause, and then it starts to drop, and it drops, and it ends up at a lower level during menopause and after menopause. Now, why is that important? Well, estrogen has an important role in this collagen turnover we were just talking about how those collagen fibres replenish themselves and get new, nice, healthy fibres. Now, when estrogen is decreased in our body, that cycle just takes a bit longer. So if it takes a bit longer, but we're still doing quite a lot of exercise, or we start something new and we start doing a different type of exercise, so our change in what we're doing. For example, we suddenly might be training for an event and we get more at what we're doing. We suddenly start doing less and we're feeling a bit tired because we're not sleeping so well, and then do a bit of exercise, or you do hill reps, or you do a faster moving type session, so a speed session, depends on your sports and activity. Then that means that collagen needs longer to recover from that. And if we don't, and if we carry on like we normally have been doing, or we keep putting more exercise into our diary and keep increasing that load, then we can't catch up. So those micro-trauma builds up, and that then creates this injury. Well, that sounds quite doom and gloom, but it's not really. It's just giving us a bit more information. So if we know about this and we can relate this to your gluteal tendon, how can we then manage this better? Well, we can start to listen to our bodies. We can start to learn that actually what we could do at this age in our life or stage in our life compared to what we could do now might need a little bit more thought. We might need to think that a harder session might need to have a longer recovery. And to do that, we can listen to the signs and symptoms that we might be having in our body. Do we feel tired and fatigued? Have we got any niggles anywhere? Can we rest a little bit longer in between? Now that rest can be relative rest. It might be rest from that harder level exercise, but we might be able to cross train into a different type of exercise that doesn't put so much pressure on that gluteal tendon. So that could be things like cycling or gentle walking on the flat. It could be doing HIIT exercises, so high interval intensity training exercises that don't necessarily involve our lower limbs, so lots of upper limb weights or sit-ups or things that aren't necessarily going to aggravate us. It's about looking at a pain response and seeing how how that pain response happens after our exercise, and can we keep that exercise so that our response is niggle only when we're doing it, and niggle only for the next 24 hours. So it's really important we start planning ahead and start thinking about what exercise sessions am I going to put into my week? How can I change that a little bit? How can I take away running and put in a cross trainer, for example? So it all's not lost, but it also means that if you have got greater trochanteric pain syndrome already, and we're starting to give you some rehab exercises to do, the evidence base is showing that high weight, slow speed and lower rep exercises are better. So what does that mean? Using some resistance, so using some weight, doing the exercise slowly and controlled, and doing it with not as many repetitions as you might think. So great, that sounds wonderful in principle, but how do you know which one of those to do? And that's something that I'll talk about in the next video, but it's also something that you would need to see somebody for to find out what exercise suits you and what you can do and how your tendon manages with that. So when you're doing this rehabilitation, which we give anybody of any gender and any age, we also need to consider the collagen synthesis that's going on, this perimenopausal or menopausal change to our estrogen. And it may be that the speed that we would increase the weight or do these exercises with somebody may be different if we're going through the perimenopause or menopause. So thank you for listening. Our take-home messages are: we have a higher incidence of people having outside hip pain having gone through the perimenopause or the menopause due to a change in our estrogen levels, which affects our collagen turnover. We can help this and get this better by thinking about our training and our load and what our symptom response is to that, and by strengthening that tendon, but this may be in a slower fashion or with more recovery periods than people that aren't going through this. Thank you for listening. Bye.